from The Guardian. EU raises prospect of big fine or ban if Twitter fails to follow new legislation because they don't have free speech in Europe. But what I want to point out is, our metrics are going really weird. Like on YouTube, it's like spiking and dropping, like weird stuff's going on. And I want to point out that I was supposed to have a phone call with Google and they canceled it. Had a call with them yesterday. So, I don't trust these big tech companies behind the scenes. But that being said, I think Elon is doing a tremendous service to humanity, whatever his agenda may be. But of course, in Europe, they don't have free speech. So what's happened now, there was this, they posted a video. I think Elon was talking to these EU guys. They say Elon Musk was told he had huge work ahead to comply with EU's Digital Services Act, which requires tech firms to tackle problems, including abusive posts and disinformation. The EU's Commissioner for the Internal Market, Terry Breton, told the Tesla CEO that Twitter will have to significantly increase efforts to pass the grade, implying the platform was in danger of non-compliance with the act. I welcome Elon Musk's statement of intent to get Twitter 2.0 ready for the DSA, said Breton. I am pleased to hear that he has read it carefully and considers it as a sensible approach to implement on a worldwide basis. But let's also be clear that there is still huge work ahead, as Twitter will have to implement transparent user policies, significantly reinforce content moderation, and protect freedom of speech. And with that, I got a question. What can they do to stop him?
Threaten his market share.
How do you ban Twitter?
Fine him.
Fine him how? This is the point I was making.
He's an American citizen.
I told this story about my friends when I was a kid. I'm a bad influence, I know. When I was like, hey, you want to go skate? I can't, I'm grounded. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? It means I can't go outside. Okay, what happens if you go outside? Well, I'll get grounded more. And what does that mean? It means I can't go outside longer. But you went outside already. Yeah, I know, but I'll get in trouble. Bro, you can go outside. I was like, very bad influence. My point is, if Elon Musk is using Starlink for communications, if he makes his own phone, maybe, he said he might if he has to. You can't ban apps in countries. In China and Iran, they have Twitter, even though it's banned. They'll find a way.
I was going to say, he's going to make them be the bad guy. He's going to be making them be the new China. Like the EU is going to be looked at as like a China type. And I pointed this out on Twitter the past couple days. Everyone is freaking out. Apple is freaking out, and these countries are freaking out now about free speech and stuff. So why are they not freaking out a couple years ago when Twitter was being sued for 2 different cases, and I'm sure there's more, of child exploitation content on the platform. Those individual users were complaining to Twitter saying, this is me in the videos. I am underage. Please take this down. Twitter refused to take that content down.
We were talking about this a few days ago, exactly what you just mentioned.
And where's the EU to go to Twitter a year ago and be like, hey, these things are in violation of our laws.
Yeah, but now they're mad. This is
speech.
This is the statement that the EU released today, that they're mad that he's going to be arbitrarily reinstating banned users, and that he's not pursuing disinformation aggressively enough, and that they want a full, quote, extensive audit of the platform.
Oh my God.
So they are mad that people are going to have the ability to have free speech. They are mad that users are going to be brought back, and that their lies of the state are going to be officially challenged. This is all about power. At the end of the day, the European Union knows, the government bureaucrats knows, these criminals in charge know that they could only be in power if they could keep conning and lying to everyone. Once you have free speech, that power goes away. Once you have free speech, that is all threatened. All of that could go away, and this is why we're seeing such very harsh actions by the European Union that did levy very big fines against previous U.S. big tech companies like Facebook. If you remember, it wasn't so long ago, Facebook had to pay up a lot of money as well.
To the EU?
Yeah. So again, Google lost an appeal for $4 billion in EU fines.
I was taking a dump the other day, and Facebook wouldn't stop calling me. True story. I'm not even kidding. No, and it was really annoying too, because like I posted how Google was calling me to talk about Section 230, and then a bunch of people were like, "This never happened," and I'm like, "Well, I'll post a screenshot of the email they sent me," and I got like the World Series of Poker. I love playing World Series of Poker, and I'm trying to play this game, and then I get a call from Facebook, and I'm like, "What did I close? I don't want to talk to you." They called me 3 times in like 5 minutes. Super creepy, and they were like, "We want to talk to you about your marketing stuff and what you're working on." It was like the most unhinged, desperate thing that's ever happened to me.
Super weird.
It was like a pitch to like buy ads on Facebook. Because we have an account, and they called me 3 times in a row, and it was like that trope of the voicemail where it's like, oh, must have just missed you. I'm going to give you a call back and maybe I'll get you again. I'm not kidding. I'm like, what are they doing? It's super crazy. Like,
you're not home. Well, I'll just try again.
Yeah, I just had to tell
more and
that
more
story.
agitated.
They're seeing the writing on the wall too, because they're like, if this can happen to a company like Twitter or whatever, what's to stop it from happening to a creatoring company like Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg has lost like over half of his net worth.
Yeah.
His company is creatoring. They're making cuts, everything.
That's why I'm thinking they called me like crazy. I'm willing to bet that they've got, for their sales team, it's like, guys, we got to ramp this up. They laid off, like 11,000 people. Yeah. There's the stock price tanked, I guess, because of Meta or whatever the plan is.
That's the other thing, too. They're demonizing Elon Musk for making these cuts and then ignoring Facebook is making cuts. Amazon is making cuts. All of these things. Then they're like, oh, he took over the platform and he's turning into some crazy thing. I'm like, okay, it's happening all over the tech industry if you're like paying attention.
Right.
But the thing is, too, about these policies, so they stopped enforcing the COVID-19 misinformation policy last week. And then, so my thing is they're more likely to be compliant with all of these legal stuff if they're not wasting their resources policing opinions or policing COVID misinformation. Do you know how much manpower that would take? And they have the whole report of how many suspended accounts, how many millions of posts that were actioned of COVID posts or whatever. And I know AI helps a lot with that type of stuff, but still, the resources that are wasted on opinion and political speech and silencing dissent rather than actually going after like child exploitation or actual legal content on the platform. Do you know how much like energy could be redirected towards actual like crimes on the platform? Like, it's like mind-boggling.
And you mean like illegal in the United States?
Well, I mean, it would depend on the law, I believe, for each country, because I think that's what Elon said. And then I know I'm always confused by this. I see always this like, someone reported this tweet. It's not in violation of German law or something.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
I always see that. I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
No, but it's a good thing. Right, so I've gotten these emails from Twitter where it's like you've been reported in Pakistan or something, and I can't remember who, but someone a conservative said, why is this being shown to me? Why is Twitter concerned about this? And I'm like, no, that's a good, because then if you go there, you could be arrested, and I'm not kidding. So Twitter warning you that you've posted something that they consider illegal is like, hey, now you can't go there anymore. It's a good thing they notified you. Mm-hmm. The German law thing is because Germany has a law that they have to inform people. So even if you're outside the country, they have to inform you. So the EU is all sorts of insane. There was this video of this woman. She was from the Philippines. I think she was a journalist. I don't know if you saw it, where she's talking with Colbert or something like that. And she's like, they're using free speech to stifle free speech. Like, it's just the craziest thing. But you can really see what their real agenda is. Yeah. They want to be the controllers of all information and have no one else be able to speak out of turn of the narrative. Mm-hmm. But the narrative machine is crumbling. And this is why they were crying when Elon was taking over. Yeah. Those already, the messages we saw, what was it? Vijaya
Gade.
She was like, hey, we're going to work with the government or something like that. We're going to work with you and get this stuff sorted.
She's tied up in that whole lawsuit that they're about like collusion with the Biden administration. So that's all going to come out too, I think. But it seems like she has her hands in a lot of things because she's also with the Hunter Biden laptop, and she was also the person who banned Trump. So
evil people, man. Yeah. It's crazy. I hate to say it, but man, there's no accountability. Mm-hmm. You take a look. I think everybody listening knows. You take a look at what happened with Trump and the fake impeachment stuff. You take a look at what Joe Biden did. They impeached Trump for what Joe Biden did. It's the craziest thing. It's wild. You take a look at what the people at Twitter were doing, and you're like, just where is a single moment of accountability? Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, fine. They locked her up, but she was trafficking to no one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No accountability.
Sam Bankman-Fried. Guy just
man,
he swindled $4 billion out of his investors or some amount of billions of dollars, and now
But don't worry, he's sorry.
He's speaking at the New York Times right now as he's speaking.
Is he really at the New York Times right now in New York?
I think he's doing a
video
virtual call.
Yeah, if he steps into U.S. soil, I imagine that he's not going to leave.
I doubt it.
He made
enough donations to Democrats to live the rest of his life in comfort.
That's a lot of protection money.
That's true.
Dude, so he was the CEO of FTX, which was like this internet, what would you call it? Like an exchange for crypto. And then they were taking people's money and giving them like a loan, and they were holding their money as collateral, and then he was like investing their money in like political campaigns. I mean, it's the most hideous misuse of people's investment funds, like Bernie Madoff stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw there's just the guy that asked him where'd all my $2 million in savings go, and he's like, oh well, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, he's so delusional. He's so disconnected from reality.
He was having sex with like 9 women in his
drug-fueled orgies, just like
mansion.
all the elites. That's all they do.
And they were taking all these different. He would entice his employees to take different kinds of drugs to see which one they liked the best and help them work the best. His girlfriend's running Alameda Research, which is a sister corporation that's it's like funneling FTX funds and then investing it undercover.
Yeah.
What's her name? Caroline. You guys got her last name? Caroline.
I don't know,
something.
man.
It's important that these people stay in the media, I think.
She's a weird-looking chick.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's the weird-looking one with the glasses.
It is crazy.
Caroline
what,
Ellison is her
what
name.
people do with power. It's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
Like this guy, for whatever reason, comes into Access and he's like, drugs and orgies. Like, I'm not surprised. You know what I mean? Like it reminds me of that experiment where they gave the rat the electrode on its brain to trigger dopamine. It's you give. It's almost like there's aliens, and they're like, let's give this random guy a bunch of money, see what he does, and he's just pressing the button on his brain like this feels good.
And the corporate media is like, look how humble he is. Look how look how nice and down to earth he is.
What
Look
show
at
was it
him.
where like you look back, it's like an old clip, and he's like physically shaking, and I'm like, did nobody question that
Chuck
at the
Todd.
time?
Yeah,
Like,
Chuck Todd interview.
Well, yeah, it's Chuck.
Ton
Todd,
of
yes,
drugs, absolutely druggy.
I mean, he is shaking in that interview.
Yeah, it's like at the time
tweaking.
nobody noticed that. Like,
He's a literal tweaker.
Yeah.
My goodness. And then you trust this man because Jim Cramer called him the next J.P.
God.
Morgan and Chase. I mean,
Oh, that was crazy.
Come on, guys.
I
Seriously.
like the account Unusual Whales. They screenshot all of Jim Cramer's takes, and then they just like age so poor. He's blocked them by now, but they age so poorly that it's just so funny.
Well, what's that other Twitter account, like Reverse Kramer or something like that? Yeah. It's like whatever he says, do the opposite. And then whenever someone does something that he said to do, they're like, oh, they didn't reverse Kramer, and now they lost all their money.
I look at Sam's name. It's Bankman Fried. Like, okay, is that an electric chair joke? Like, what is this simulation that we're in? His name is
Jeez.
Bankman.
Well, his family's
was a
all
banker?
connected to the Democratic Party and super PACs that have been funneling a crap ton of big money into the Democratic establishment.
Yo, I'm all about compassion and forgiveness, but at some point, when someone swindles people out of $4 billion or whatever, how many billions and millions and thousands of dollars all these people lost to this one drug addict, horny 28-year-old nerd.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.